Source code is a group of instructions that a programmer writes using computer programming languages. Once a programmer writes a line or set of source code, they can later implement it in a website, application, or another type of computer program to give it instructions for functioning. What do you mean by source code? Source code is generally understood to mean programming statements created by a programmer with a text editor or a visual programming tool and then saved in a file. Object code generally refers to the output, a compiled file produced when the source code is compiled with a C compiler. How do I view the full source code? In Google Chrome on the browser toolbar, select More Tools and then View Source. What is complete source code? Source code is made up of the instructions developers write to tell a computer what to do, and it's fundamental to software development. Whether you're using a mobile phone app, visiting a website, or using an operating system tool on your computer desktop, source code is behind it all. What does source code look like? Source code is relatively easy to read, unlike more complex types of code, such as machine code. For example, source code typically includes words and common punctuation like brackets and apostrophes. This makes it easy for new programmers to learn before moving on to more complicated codes. Is there a difference between code and source code? Source code is a collection of instructions written using a programming language, while object code is an output of the source code. In what language is source code written? Both source code and object code are created using programming languages. Source code is written in a high-level programming language such as Java, C++, or Python, and object code is generated by the compiler when it translates the source code into machine code. Is source code written by humans? Explanation. Source code is computer code as written by humans. It is a human-readable set of instructions written in a high-level programming language like C++ that is eventually converted into machine-readable binary code, also known as machine code. What do you mean by machine code? Machine code, also known as machine language, is the elemental language of computers. It is read by the computer's central processing unit, CPU, is composed of digital binary numbers, and looks like a very long sequence of zeros and ones. Why is machine code important? Machine language provides direct access to the computer's memory and registers, allowing programmers to manipulate the hardware at a fundamental level. What is the difference between source code and machine code? Source code and machine code differ because source code is programming language specific and non-executable, but standardized to be converted, whereas machine code is the actual executable code. Data recovery is the process of restoring data that has been lost, accidentally deleted, corrupted, or made inaccessible. In enterprise IT, data recovery typically refers to the restoration of data to a desktop, laptop, server, or external storage system from a backup. Why is data recovery so important? Primary data failures can result from hardware or software failure, data corruption, or a human-caused event such as a malicious attack, virus, malware, or accidental deletion of data. Backup copies allow data to be restored from an earlier point in time to help the business recover from an unplanned event. What are the two types of data recovery? There are two types of recoveries: logical data recovery and physical data recovery. How can data be recovered? Depending on the situation, solutions involve repairing the logical file system, partition table, or master boot record, or updating the firmware. Drive recovery techniques range from software-based recovery of corrupted data to hardware and software-based recovery of damaged service areas, also known as the hardware. What does data backup and recovery mean? Backup and recovery is the process of making duplicate copies of critical data to be able to restore when needed and to protect organizations from data loss. Data loss or corruption can result from various issues, including hardware or software failure, natural disasters, cyber attacks, or even human error. Physical data loss is usually easier to identify when a data loss occurs due to physical damage. If you are unable to access the documents, then it is most likely that a physical or mechanical data loss occurred. In a physical data loss situation, a data storage media is no longer functional. This situation can occur due to various reasons on different devices. Mainly, physical data loss occurs due to fire, water damage, dropping, power failure, or natural disasters. In addition, hard drives usually show a sign of physical damage by making odd grinding, buzzing, or clicking sounds. Crashed hard drive recovery, in general, happens when elements inside the storage device get damaged to the point where they do not work. Hence, the data cannot be read. Physical damage will cause file corruption or even permanent data loss when the failure occurs in the specific sectors with all the valuable files. Logical data loss is harder to identify. Logical failure happens if files become inaccessible due to accidental deletion, human error, partition deletion, data corruption, malware, formatting, and many other causes. In a logical data loss situation, the device is fully operational, but access to the files is lost. The problem with logical damage is that it cannot be seen. The user may continue to proceed normally with the device while the situation becomes more severe. Restoring data from a physically damaged device is more complicated, but logical data recovery is not much more straightforward. It is essential to entrust this case to specialists, as there are many nuances to consider. There are many data restoration tools on the internet, but employing them on your fragile media is risky. Data recovery software can overwrite your valuable data, making further recovery impossible. Moreover, an unverified program can contain viruses, so downloading and installing it on your device will do more harm than good. Providing safety and security for a client is a goal, as well as restoring all the data. As you are aware, since June 22, 2024, someone or something caused a shutdown of ONPASSIVE servers. This was an overt act of people trying their best to force ONPASSIVE out of business. So, for over 2.5 months, we have been waiting and plugged into updates by our CEO, Mr. Ash Mufareh. On August 29, 2024, Mr. Mufareh released an update that completely sent emotions that engulfed the hearts of true ONPASSIVE founders. This news caused unimaginable joy for those who have supported ONPASSIVE and its CEO, Mr. Ash Mufareh. That news is that ONPASSIVE has been able to recover 100% of all source codes and 100% of all data. All is good and ready for the next phase of our journey in ONPASSIVE. All data is everything that was produced by ONPASSIVE for its founders, including all digital products, all AI-driven solutions, all wallets, all funding, all that has been created for the benefit of founders and humanity. The enemy tried but failed to kill ONPASSIVE because good always conquers evil. ONPASSIVE has 2 scenarios, and both will happen in the month of September 2024. Not only have Mr. Ash Mufareh and his staff of brilliant and faithful technology geniuses 100% recovered our source codes and data, but they have also recovered the founders' hopes and dreams.